From the cuddliest bear in literature to a serial murderer, here's why Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey was a bloody mess. Okay, so a new Winnie the Pooh movie's doing the rounds, and let me tell ya, it's not what you'd expect. Apparently, Pooh Bear and his pals had to resort to cannibalism during the harsh winter, which really messed with their heads, and when Christopher Robin abandoned them for grown-up life, well, things turned out not so great. Pooh and Piglet went on a wild rampage, taking out unsuspecting hotties in the woods with some seriously gruesome tactics.
Why am I so special?
Because soon we'll be Christopher and Mary Robin.
This place is kind of cold. Did you say how's a pool?
When I say gruesome tactics, I mean Piglet's got the strength of 30 to 50 feral hogs, while Pooh's driving cars over people's heads. It's like a horror movie, but with stuffed animals. Can you believe it? Who would have ever thought that Disney's beloved Winnie the Pooh would get such a twisted makeover? But hold up, turns out it's not actually Disney's fault this time. See, on January 1st, 2022, the rights to the original Milne story expired and opened the floodgates for all sorts of creative reimagining. And boy, did director Rhys Frake Waterfield take advantage of that freedom. He went straight for the low-hanging fruit, turning Pooh and his philosophical friends into bloodthirsty killers. I mean, come on, we all knew Pooh was a bit off, but this is just ridiculous. So this director is out here trying to shock and offend with his twisted take on Pooh. He's even said that he wants to ruin everyone's childhood. Yikes. But here's the thing. His movie looks like it was made on a shoestring budget of like $38. And somehow it's even showing in real movie theaters thanks to Fathom Events. It just goes to show that while there's definitely some wild and reinventive potential to reinterpreting classic characters now that they're in the public domain, there are also some serious limitations and pitfalls. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot more of free use-sploitation cinema, but of course with that newfound freedom comes some serious philosophical questions. How much can you use the essence of Winnie the Pooh before he's no longer Pooh at all? The original collection of stories may be up for grabs now that it's in the public domain, but Disney's interpretation of the character has been under lock and key for a good 40 years or so. That means Rhys had to be careful not to make his twisted version similar enough to the iconic Disney version. I mean, we wouldn't want any confused kids going to see Blood and Honey and expecting to see Tigger bouncing around in the 100-acre wood, now would we? So here's the deal. To make sure his version of Pooh was different enough from the Disney version, Frake Waterfield had to ditch a lot of things we associate with the lovable bear. That means no more catchphrases, no more red shirt or pantsless ensemble for that matter, and definitely no more getting his head stuck in pots of honey. Instead, Pooh had to be reimagined as a hulking, silent killer wearing dirty overalls and flannel. More Leatherface than a lovable teddy bear. Honestly, if it weren't for the constant mentions of Pooh's name, this movie would just be your average slasher flick with a guy in a Pooh mask. Which, by the way, is pretty creepy when you can still see his human mouth and eyes peeping out from underneath. Let me tell you, this movie is not exactly a masterpiece. It feels thrown together, with little to recommend it other than its ability to make people scream and applaud. Case in point, the opening night screening at the Real Union Square in New York was a wild affair, with audiences shrieking in delight and giving the film a hearty round of applause.
We need to go. Laura's dead.
Pooh, Piglet, Eeyore, we were friends for many years, and they're out there.
And you know what? The folks behind Blood and Honey seem to know exactly what they're doing. They left the ending wide open, which is usually a bad thing, but they already have a sequel in the works. Talk about hubris, but it looks like it paid off. The film made almost $1 million on opening night alone. Clearly, there are plenty of horror fans out there who are ready to sink their teeth into a good blood-feeding frenzy. All in all, it's an exciting time for creators and audiences alike as we explore the darker side side of our favorite childhood characters. While some of the fans are excited, others have taken a worrying turn. Reese Frake Waterfield, the man behind the controversial Pooh horror flick, has received death threats and even had people calling the police on him. The filmmaker admitted that while he's confident the movie will do well, he's also faced petitions to stop it. In his words, "It's insane. People are losing their minds over a murderous bear in overalls. Next thing you know, we'll have people protesting against Winnie the Pooh plush toys." Fans also took to social media to express their feelings. Apparently, it's so bad that it's good. According to a scathing review by a fan on Twitter, Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey is atrocious and incompetent on every level. They compared the film to Tommy Wiseau's The Room, but not in a humorous way, stating that the film is bad and abysmally handled every step of the way. The fans criticized the writing, directing, and acting, concluding that the film is a full-on nightmare of bad choices and terrible filmmaking. While one fan's review was scathing, other viewers had mixed opinions about the film. One Twitter user, @Lilith2, went so far as to call it the worst movie they've ever seen. However, Mary Beth McAndrews, editor-in-chief of Dread Central, gave a more mild recommendation for the film, describing it as campy, uneven, and stifled, but still suggested viewers go have fun and enjoy the ride. Another one said that no amount of booze, drugs, or any substance can make the movie enjoyable or even bearable. Anyway, how did the producers even come up with such a messed up idea? Turns out it's a crossover. Okay, so the filmmaker dude is saying that they wanted to make it seem like all the Disney characters live in the same world, so they can have epic crossovers. And get this, the filmmaker told the interviewer, someone actually wants to see Bambi and Winnie the Pooh go head to head. All in all, there isn't any reason for the movie to exist. According to one of the fans, the movie is a total mess, but that isn't even the worst part. The killers don't even have a reason for existing, and the audience can't even root for the poor victims. It's like they only wrote half the script and then just gave up. Another fan said that the characters and the storylines just pop out of nowhere and then disappear without a trace. The movie had nothing authentic, except for a brief flashback. The movie has a scene with Christopher Robin that looks like a flashback from Pooh's memory. Apparently, in this scene, Christopher hands Pooh a piece of fruit. But here's the crazy thing. While the rest of the movie is all dark and gloomy, this scene with Robin is like a rainbow explosion with tons of colors. Talk about a total contrast. If you're hoping for a deep, meaningful plot, top-notch acting, and unforgettable characters, you might want to look elsewhere. And don't even get me started on the ending. But hey, if you're willing to throw all your expectations out the window and embrace the chaos, then this flick might just be the hilarious dumpster fire you're looking for. It's like watching a train crash, except with more laughs and fewer casualties. Well, that's all I had to say about why Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey is a bloody mess.